Now when I was a cowboy out on the western plain, when I was a cowboy out on the western plain, well, I made a $500,000 working hard on the bright rain. Come a cock, jiggy, come a cock, jiggy, jiggy, jay. Come a cock, jiggy, come a cock, jiggy, jiggy, jay. What was the greatest battle ever on the western plain? What was the greatest battle ever on the western plain? Is when me and a bunch of cowboys rode into Jesse James. Come a cock, jiggy, come a cock, jiggy, jiggy, jay. Come a cock, jiggy, come a cock, jiggy, jiggy, jay. Now when me and a bunch of cowboys rode into Jesse James, when me and a bunch of cowboys rode into Jesse James, bullets were flying just like a shower of rain. Come a cock, jiggy, come a cock, jiggy, jiggy, jay. Come a cock, jiggy, come a cock, jiggy, jiggy, jay. Look out, Jesse. What was the greatest battle ever on Bunker Hill? What was the greatest battle ever on Bunker Hill? It was when me and a bunch of cowboys rode into Buffalo Bill. Come a cock, jiggy, come a cock, jiggy, jiggy, jay. Come a cock, jiggy, come a cock, jiggy, jiggy, jay.
You're in the Olympia for 4 nights, starting the 17th, and then you're in Belfast and Limerick and Galway and Cork, and then you're off on a UK tour.
That's right, indeed.
You're a busy little lad, aren't you?
Oh, well.
This guy was born in the Rock Hospital in Ballyshannon. Is that what they call it?
I believe so, yeah. I don't remember it myself, but... I believe the hospital is still there as far as I know, but they didn't put the plaque up yet, you know. So
Any day now, Rory, any day now.
Working at
So
it,
how come you went to live in Cork then? What was that all about?
I don't know. Various reasons, but that's where I grew up really and went to school. But I spent time in other parts of Ireland as well. And no harm done, because you end up with a nice, you know, need to travel, and I like the gypsy lifestyle, so it suits me fine.
At what stage did you start tinkering with guitars? And
9 years of age.
was it 9?
Yeah, I had a ukulele with a picture of Elvis Presley on it when I was 6 or 7. And
Ukulele should have had a picture of George Formby on it, I would have thought.
it was a plastic instrument from Woolworths or something like that.
I see, yeah.
But I kind of knew from seeing Elvis Presley and hearing Big Bill Broonzy and Lead Belly on the TV and the radio that that's where I was aiming at. But the first wooden guitar was 9, so I'm afraid I inflicted myself on everybody from there on in, so there you are.
And was the music in the family, Rory? Was your dad, Mar?
Yeah, my father was a very good accordionist. My mother's a good singer, and both sides are fairly musical, which is usually the case in this country anyway, you know.
Yeah. They encouraged you, or tried to keep you back? Or?
No, I was encouraged, but I was more interested in American roots music, really, than Irish traditional or opera, which you might hear at home or something. But I had this sort of great love of sort of Leadbelly and these travelling musicians in America.
Yeah. And were you hearing those on record? It's extraordinary that you would have been listening to Leadbelly and Big Bill and all of those. That's where I came in as well.
Yeah.
You know, originally. Yeah.
Well, on the BBC, they used to play on jazz programs. Blues and folk was then. It wasn't like rock and roll blues, or AFN, for instance, the American Forces Network.
All of that.
Yeah. And of course, people like Chuck Berry and Lonnie Donegan didn't hurt either, or Buddy Holly, Eddie Cochran. They all, you know, at that stage, just to see somebody playing a guitar and singing was enough to just switch me on. You know, I wasn't too snobby about it. You know.
Yeah. This guy, you're seeing him in a very, downplaying a lot tonight because he's on the Late Show, because we don't have the equipment and so on. But when he's on concert, when he's in concert, he sure is a lively guy and operates very well. I want to show you a clip of yourself in action from the Cork Opera House. It was directed actually by our own director, Anita, last December. Will you roll it there, Roisin, please? This is the way the guy behaves when he's really surrounded by all his adoring fans and a very keen audience. It is extraordinary, isn't it, that the old riffs will still do it on a play-out if you really punch it in. Come in close to that microphone there. It's extraordinary, isn't it?
It is. But the strange thing is that you could spend, as we did, maybe 10 years trying to be very clever sometimes, and update the riffs and change the, you know, try and use the roots bass and be European clever with it. But it's a no-win situation. You end up just to be able to play like T-Bone Walker riffs or whatever with your own original stamp is really what I've found lately. That, you know, I've got 25 more years of this to try and learn.
You reckon, do you?
Oh, you God,
25 years at least, yeah. You don't go into the heavy metal stuff, though. You don't go that far over.
No, I don't. But I mean, my attitude about heavy metal is that Eddie Cochran, for instance, if he were alive today, he'd be a heavy metal artist. So I don't like to be a snob about it. But say in the last 5 years, I've moving back more towards the real origins of the music.
Are you really? Yeah. Simplifying? Simplifying?
Simplifying, cutting down, and just trimming it down a lot.
Yeah. What I find most heartening about that is that 20 years ago, certainly when you were starting to listen to that stuff that you were listening to, and I was starting as well, we rarely would have thought that you would ever see the day that an Irishman, a Cork man, in Cork would get such adulation. I mean, that is the big change, isn't it? Yourself and Van the Man and all the other people, you know, it's extraordinary.
Well, it's great. I mean, I think the sad fact in Ireland is that quite often the whole blues and R&B side of things is overlooked, because lately a lot of the groups, good groups at that, in Ireland and in Western Europe, they're all very white-oriented, you know what I mean? And they don't have this... I think for a while a lot of youngsters thought that if a man sat down with a 12-string guitar and a chair, that he was like the black equivalent of Seamus Ennis or something, if that doesn't sound daft. But I think lately now again, I'd like to think people are beginning to reappraise these great original blues players, because that's the source, you know, really.
Yeah. For such a laid-back guy, you certainly put a lot of action into a show like that. Are you banjaxed after that now? All that leaping about, carry on in the opera house.
That's my son. He does all that for me. I just play the squeeze box and the acoustic, you know. No, oddly enough, I get more worn out by when I'm off the road from nervous tension. I'm better off when I'm touring. I wallow in it, and I become fit, you know, whereas if I'm just doing, you know, rehearsals or just doing little bits in the studio or something, I become really, I don't know, less together than I am when I'm on tour.
You can't be bothered with the business of the business. You can't be bothered with the arrangements and the contracts and the recording guys and the minders and all of that.
Well, yeah, well, I've always tried to simplify the whole business thing as best I could. But the thing is that for a couple of years I kind of didn't keep an eye on certain people in the early days. So now I have to be a little bit awake at the crack of dawn to make sure things aren't wrong. But in general, I just like to play and play every night.
Oh. Okay, another 20 years, that'll make you 62. You're going to keep going till you're 62? You're going to stay in the business until you're 62? Learning the guitar,
mathematics
singing
are better than mine, yeah. No, it's just that, well, you know, Chuck Berry just turned 62, and I mean, if I can be anything like he is at that age, I'll be more than happy, you know.
You will. I tell you what, I'll do a deal. When you retire at 62, then you can start teaching me how to play the guitar, okay?
Fair enough.
We got a deal?
Yeah.
All right, well done. Good luck to you. Rory Gallagher, ladies and gentlemen. Well done.